Hello, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Welcome to Ramblings of a Book Dragon, where we dive into the warmth of good books and unravel stories that feel like a literary hug. I'm Allie, your host, and I'm thrilled to embark on another cozy adventure with you. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, snuggle into your cozy reading nook, and let's begin. But before we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe so that you won't miss a single episode. I really value your feedback and recommendations. Now let's begin. Today I am going a little different, and I am reviewing the historical Chinese drama Pursuit of Jade. And it is just so cute. And I'm reviewing the first 20 episodes because I thought, okay, this will be fun. And I don't know what's going to happen in the last 20 episodes because I've been trying my best to not completely spoil everything. But I thought, oh, let's talk about it. And I'm going to do an overview of the first 20 episodes, give an idea of what the show is, some things that I really like. And hopefully this is something that goes well. If you want me to review the second half, or if you have other dramas that you would like for me to discuss, please let me know. But the first 20 episodes is a nice, lovely transition period from cozy slice of life village romance into a high stakes political and military thriller. And I really, really like that because I was worried for a while. Like, I knew things were going to get intense. I knew things were going to hit the fan, but I didn't know when. So the fact that it took us as long as it did, like things were slowly starting to become tense throughout the first like 17 episodes, things were starting to build up in intensity and craziness. And we were getting ideas that something is wrong, something's going to happen. But it didn't really truly go all the way out until like the 18th episode. So that is a good thing. But we follow a young woman named Fan Changyu. She lives in Linan Village, and this is not a historically accurate show. It's like an idea of ancient China. But she is supporting her younger sister, Changning, because she is a pig butcher, but because their parents were killed recently, so they've been living with a family friend because they were kicked out by her aunt and uncle. And when she's coming back from during a heavy snowstorm, she discovers a severely injured man buried in a snowdrift, and she carries him back. And I thought that just everything with this show is just so well done. And I was looking at some stuff about this on YouTube, and I guess it's definitely it sounds like it's mainly the director, like with the light and the angles and the snow and the sun. It's just so good. That's part of a lot of it too, is I think just how beautifully shot it's done, because you see some shows that are like, what's going on here? What is the situation? We have no issues with light. That is good. And the man calls himself Yan Zheng, but he's actually secretly the Marquess of Wuhan, hiding from a blood feud and palace conspiracies. But she still doesn't know. At the 20th episode mark, she still thinks that he is just a man who, like, he says that he is, what was it called? He can fight, but he was more traveling as like a guard situation instead of being the Marquess. And the Marquess of Wuhan is a badass warrior general leader, and everyone in the palace and stuff is thinking he's dead, which is good for him at this moment in time. They're like, okay, what's going on? We need to find the body. We need to confirm what's going on. So they send some people to figure out what's going on. But then we have our first round of slight drama because Changyu's greedy uncle is trying to seize the family home to cover for gambling debts because the family doesn't have a male heir. And I guess if you don't have a male heir, it goes to the next male relative. So because she thinks that Yang Zheng he has no family, he has no one around, so they're able to bring him in as a husband. And because usually in Chinese culture, the woman marries into the man's family. But in this situation, and apparently this is a real thing that could actually happen, he marries into the family. And because of this, she is in charge of that. She's head of household. She's in charge of everything. He's like a house husband, basically. But she marries a seemingly invalid Yan Zheng to secure the property. And what I really liked is that there is this small group of men who run the gambling den, and they at one point they're trying to find the house's deed, and she just continues to just. This is the first time that Yan Zhang is seeing her fighting abilities, and this is what I really like too, is the fact that she can fight, she can protect herself, and she explains that her father taught her these things, but to never really show it. But then she winds up showing it all the time because there's situations that call for it. But it made sense. It didn't feel like it was something that was hoisted upon her. Like, she knew how to fight, but there were some times when things were a little bit more awkward for her. But like in a situation like this where she's kicking some bullies' butts, she's good. And then she tells her sister, little Ning, and little Ning, young Chang Ning, is just the cutest little thing. She is just precious, and she's always telling her to cover her eyes and count to 10 when a violent situation, or like when butchering a pig or things like that. And so she's counting to 10, and then when she's done beating up the gambling guys, she says, "Okay, you can open your eyes now." And she's like, "I didn't get to count to 10," and she never gets to count to 10 throughout this entire, like, so far up to the 20th episode, and she's just so cute. I love her. But anyway, so then the two start to navigate their marriage of convenience, and Chang Yu vows to support her husband with her butchering skills, while their neighbor Uncle Zhao helps treat his wounds. And Uncle Zhao and his wife they are like the new parents to them, because her greedy uncle was trying to just take everything, but these friends were able to help with it. But then we start to get into drama situation, because her uncle is found dead, and her aunt labels Chang Yu as a jinx. And this is something that was going on beforehand too throughout the show, because she was labeled a jinx because her parents were dead and she's a single woman, and it's just becoming more and more dramatic. And then things really start to become crazy when mysterious assassins target the sisters. But then Yan Zhang, he starts to show his own skills. Like, we saw hints of this earlier in the show, but then he really starts to utilize his elite martial arts skills from the shadows to protect them. And I really like that he's quietly protecting them. He's quietly doing things. But then we also get this really just good moment when he has to run with Chang Ning to protect her from the assassins, and he's telling her to close her eyes and count to 10 and stuff, and he's fighting. But you can also see that he is struggling because he's still trying to recover from his wounds, and like he's still opening up his wounds and things like that. And there's this whole moment where he's telling Chang Yu to run with her sister, protect her, save herself. But then she comes, and it's just a very big dramatic moment, and like she picks up her sister and runs, and like, okay, this is good. But then she comes back and helps him fight off the assassins that are in the woods and helps kill them and stuff. And I thought that was really well done to show, like, okay, he can fight, he can clearly take people down with him, but it's not like constantly leveling up or anything like that, or like, oh, I have wounds, but I'm fine, I can fight, I have there's no issues. Like, there is clearly struggles, and I thought that was really, really well done. And then also soon we have a businesswoman, I'm going to pronounce this name incorrectly, Yu Qiangquan maybe, enters because she's running a business, she's running a restaurant, and she's also hiding a secret because she's keeping her son, Bao Air, safe in hidden room away from powerful threats, but we don't know what's going on just yet. But she hires Chang Yu to make her pork for the restaurant, and so they become just really, really good friends. And then things start in the next couple of episodes, the 13th through the 17th episode. This is when things are really starting to amp up, but it's not at full, oh my God, things are hitting the fan. Like it's still like we still have like things are getting tense, but it's not crazy bad yet because they're starting to have riots. There's calls for a war. So they're drafting men. And so men are being taken away. And Yang Zhang has to bid farewell to Chang Yu because he needs to leave. But then this is something that it takes a bit for him to finally leave because he has to go back. Like he knows he has to lead his men because there's a lot of political upheaval in the capital, in the palace, and he can't let certain situations happen because there was a massacre that happened 17 years ago, and he had been investigating that massacre when he almost died. And it finds out that it's just a lot of chaos and drama, and there's just been like things are getting worse and worse and worse until finally in the 18th episode. And plus, we have this big dramatic moment when he's between Yang Zheng and Chang Yu because he's trying he's pulling her in for a couple of kisses, and he's like, "Come with me and don't go," because her original plan was to marry this scholar, but the scholar was weak, controlled by his mother, and it was just a very bad situation. So it's like, you keep on picking the wrong man. So they don't end on a good note, they end on a fighting note. So he leaves to go back, but he's still trying his best to protect her. And then turns out that Changning is missing, and there's this bandit. And the 18th episode is definitely a hard episode so far, but since we're getting into war decking times, I have a feeling it's going to become worse soon because we're getting into the fun. But these bandits, because there was a situation where she first meets one of the brothers, this villainous Sui Yangqing, and he joins forces with this stronghold of bandits, and they ruthlessly raid her village to locate Chang Yu, which results in the death and capture and just everything of most everyone in the village. And it was just so heartbreaking because she was locating people, and Changning is missing, and the bandits capture the sister. And we've also get into a situation with the other brother, Sui Yan Huai, completely butchered that name, rescues Yu Chenquan and Bao Air during another situation, and he's holding them under his controlling surveillance because it turns out that they knew each other from before, and she ran away, and she's one of his concubines. It's just becoming more and more and more intense, and rather than letting herself be captured by Sui Yang Qing, because he finds out that she is the wife of Marquez Wuan, and those two are enemies with each other. And there's just been a lot of drama coming up there, and she also manages to capture him at one point because she's trying to help people, and she's trying to stop this situation with a riot, and it's just been so much chaos. But she's able to capture him and basically beat him in a fight. So he's like, okay, I need to get this woman for myself, and it would be a good way to get back at the Marquess. But rather than letting herself be captured by him, she leaps off of a cliff. And this is one of the things that I don't like, but I'm going to get into this later. But then a masked man, Yi Zhang in disguise, saves her life, and he leaves her behind to shield her from capital politics because he's realizing that this isn't going to be good for her if she is revealed to be his wife as the Marquez. So he leaves her behind without revealing her face. And we then jump forward by a month, and Chang Yu is vowing revenge. She's needing to find her sister. And so she begins hunting down child kidnappers from across the region, and she begins to gain immense folk popularity. But then she accidentally lands herself in a forced quarry work camp, but she's wanting to find her sister, and it's good that she's been rescuing all these other children, but it's been to find her sister. So this is where we are at right now with the 20th episode. Is she was just captured because this man who was running away from the quarries was saying, I have a family, I'm trying to run away, don't let them get me. But then he turns around and tries to attack her. And when the men come back and they see them together, she's trying to explain what was going on. They don't really believe her story, so they capture her. So that's where we're at with the first 20 episodes. Hope that wasn't too overly rambly or overly detailed, but so far I am sat. I can't wait to finish this show. It is just so good. It's 40 episodes long, and I just loved that so far the pacing has been really, really well done. I've never felt like I've been bored. I really like the fact that there is bits of humor, bits of romance. Like especially since there was a scene where they were having to pretend to consummate their relationship at the beginning. And it's just been like, okay, we like each other. We're starting to learn about each other. And it's just been so, like, they just are just so good together. And she's helping and she has no idea who he is still. But then at one point, because she rescued him, he's like, okay, if you could have anything in the world, what would you want? And rather than like riches, gold, castle, but she also doesn't know who he is, but this is just her being genuinely herself. She's like, I want to expand the pig business, the pig butcher business. I want to have more pigs. I want to expand. I want to do more with that to help her little sister. And she just wants to have that safe stability measure of peace. She is not aiming to get to the top. And it sounds like that's something that's going to continue. I did see some spoilers for other bits farther down the road because YouTube keeps on giving me bits and shorts, and like I keep on clicking on them, which is encouraging it, which is not helpful for anything. But it's so good, and it's just so beautifully done with all the snow and the way that the sun is, and yeah, it's so good, so pretty. But I do have a couple nitpicky things that I don't like, but that's also just like, it's not complete negatives. It's more of just, okay. Like when she's jumping off the cliff and she has a couple bruises, she has a couple scrapes, maybe a head injury, we don't know, but she's fine. Like, are you for real? Like, this happens a couple of times throughout this show where they're able to like jump off of this big castle, jump down, no issues, land and continue to run, no issues. They're able to jump, they're able to leap, they're able to do all that stuff. And it's like, okay. And then there's a scene where she's almost about to fall off of the building, the castle, but then she is pulled back in with cloth that is just flung, and the way it was flung was able to wrap around her and pull her back. It's like, okay, fine. But I know it's elite martial arts skills. I get that. And we can't just let them die easy peasy from just jumping off of the cliff. And this isn't just her. This also happened with one of the Wu brothers too. And he makes a jump and he survives. Like, they also land in water, which helps. But these times where they are just making these massive jumps, it's like, okay, fine. But yes, I love the fact that, but that it's just a little thing that I don't like. But other than that, really good. And I love the fact just the cozy slice of life villageness where it's not too sweet. Like they're learning how to they were learning how to be a couple, but we had some things that were like we were getting ideas of something was coming. Like I knew something was coming, but I like the fact that we were just drawn in and it wasn't just straight from the get-go military war digging, you know? All sorts of fun things. But yes, those kisses between them were just so, ooh, they are doing it so, so well and loved that. Even their fight, and she is not afraid to slap him. And I know we don't like violence, we don't condone that, but he was being a jerk face about it. Like, for real, really, dude, you're gonna say this and then say, come with me. Ooh, like, I don't blame her. She had every right to be pissed. And I can't wait for when she finds out who he really is and that he lied to her this entire time. She is gonna be pissed. And that was the other thing that I like too, is that there is another situation with the gamblers. They were also kind of ransacking her business, and she beats them up, and she winds up becoming like the leader of their group in a way. Like she hires them to work for her, but she's not really like hiring them. She's just putting them to work. And then she's like, okay, well, you worked, so here's your pay for the day, and you can't just work without eating. Like it's just, I thought that was really cute, and she earns their loyalty, and I think I saw that they come with her later. I don't know. I will find out. But yeah, so far this has been really nicely paced and really nicely done. Like I just have been really enjoying everything about this, and it hasn't been too slow. It hasn't been too overly bloody. Like the worst was definitely episode 18 with the attack on the village and the fact that he was interrogating people and people were dying, and it's just, whew, that was intense. But we do need to have our moment of dramatic horror in order to get her to join in, because she was happy to just kind of stay as a pig butcher and do all of that. And of course, we can't just let that happen. She has to join in the fray. So hopefully the next 20 episodes will be good as well. So I will come back at the end to review the last 20. But if there's any other shows that you want me to review or take a look at, either Chinese dramas or Korean dramas, happy to do so. And I will catch you next time, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Take care. Goodbye.